About the author. Gary Furr is in the business of helping business owners make more money. He helps business owners and executives dramatically improve their individual and organizational effectiveness so that they can take their businesses to the next level and increase their bottom line revenue. Gary's approach has grown out of 40-plus years of C-level business experience, an MBA in organizational development, and hundreds of interactions with business owners, observing their struggles to achieve the level of success that they envisioned when they started their business. In June of 2012, returning from an 8-day business trip to Russia, it took Gary 29 hours to fly home. That is when he decided it was time to do something else, because life is short, and working crazy hours is not the answer to a life well lived. Gary concluded that true wealth is not money, but free time to do the things you love and be with the people you love. As CEO of Gary Furr Consulting, he is helping business owners create that same freedom for themselves. Listen as Gary reads his book, It's Not Hard, It's Business.
Chapter 5. Choose Your Direction. Many times when business owners are struggling, they think they just need to work harder and harder, and that will change things. It rarely does. What does work is slowing down and taking a bird's-eye view of your business to observe the current state or your reality. Where is your business today? Be honest with yourself. You have to know where you really are. There cannot be any self-deception or unwillingness to see reality. Just tell the truth. I know slowing down does not sound like the key to success. In fact, it probably sounds like the last thing you should do. But trust me, running faster and faster in the wrong direction is a critical mistake. Stop and observe where you are. Does it look anything like what you envisioned it would look like when you started your business? Are you where you thought you would be, both personally and professionally? One of my early clients, we will call him Tim, had been working in his business for 5 years and had finally made a small profit. He was discouraged that the hard work and effort had not paid off as he originally thought it should, so he called me. He explained what was going on in his business and that he decided to sell it and do something else. Together we came to the conclusion that he would sell his business in 2 years. In order to do so, there were some things we needed to accomplish in order to make the business more appealing to a potential buyer. The first step was to completely understand his current state. The next step was to determine a clear direction. Since we knew he would sell the business in 2 years, we worked backwards from there. In doing so, we determined that he would need to start documenting his processes and procedures so that anyone new could come in and figure out how to run the business without Tim's involvement. The next step was to develop a plan of action on how to bridge the gap between his current state and his desired future to sell the business. Then, of course, he would have to begin executing on the plan. This is where the difficulty came in for Tim. He had not been focused on his business. He was distracted by a variety of things, including social media, so much so that he would come to work every day but accomplish very little. With clear direction and a map for the business, we made a plan of action to get Tim to be more focused on his business. I had Tim promise me that he would give me 4 hours a day, from 8 a.m. until noon, of complete focus on his business. He was responsible for eliminating any distractions that took him away from that focus. After noon, I told him I did not care what he did. He could go play golf, dive into social media, play video games, anything. It did not matter as long as he gave me 4 hours of uninterrupted time every day, and he agreed. Once Tim had a clear direction and a plan of action, he became motivated to be intensely focused on his business to get it ready to sell. A funny thing happened along the journey. The very next year, Tim's business had a 540% increase in revenue. Suddenly, Tim was highly motivated by the results he was getting, and he began second-guessing his decision to sell his business. He had a clear vision of where he wanted to go, a map to his destination, and a plan of action on how to get his business there. He had also been intensely focused for at least 4 hours per day over many months, which generated amazing results. Now he was highly motivated and no longer wanted to sell the business. It is remarkable what a clear sense of direction can do. Working backwards. Before you begin any journey, you need to know where you're setting out from, your starting point. I recommend developing a personal and business balance sheet to determine where you are currently. There are numerous items you can address on your balance sheet. Here are some questions you can ask yourself. What is my current financial situation? How many hours per week am I working? Am I in control of my business, or is the business running me? How much time am I spending working in the business versus on the business? If I take an extended vacation, will the business continue to operate smoothly? Am I able to regularly spend time with family and friends? Do I have time for volunteer work or other interests outside of work? Of course, you should add your own questions based on matters important to you and your quality of life. Once you have been completely honest about where you are, it's time to think about what you want the future to look like for your business and your personal life. I stress this with all my clients. Do not neglect to consider your personal life. You need to acknowledge what you want both personally and in your business. You have a life, and more often than not, your personal and business lives are intimately intertwined. You cannot consider one without considering the other. I advise creating a vision of the future 5 years from this day. You want to go out 5 years from now and describe what that is going to look like for you and your business and your personal life. How many employees do you want to have? How much money do you want to make? How big of a business do you want? How many weeks of vacation do you want to take? Describe it in writing, but stick to about 6 or 7 items. Then work backwards from that. If you want to be at this particular future state in 5 years, where do you need to be 3 years from now? Write that down as well. Use the same 6 or 7 items and describe what each looks like in 3 years. Then work backwards again. Where do you want to be a year from now? If you need to be at a certain point in 3 years, where do you need to be a year from now? What would your business look like if money, time, and energy were no object? You need to be bold when you think about this and describe it. Write it down and read it often. Give yourself permission to dream big. It is your life and your business. Why not dream big? Do not let your small business make you small-minded. This is a common pitfall. You did not start your business by thinking small. Why not think really big and imagine the future that you want? John F. Kennedy was not thinking small when he announced we would put a man on the moon in 10 years. We did not even have the technology to do it then. It had to be created. Think outside your own box. If you're unable to think outside the box because you are in the box, get a mentor or a coach to help you see more clearly. Put it in writing. Writing it all down is part of the process. It is not sufficient to see it in your mind. You must write it down. Maybe that seems tedious or even childish, but do not talk yourself out of doing it. Your mind is a powerful tool if you put it to work on your behalf. The sheer act of writing down your vision of the future puts your subconscious mind to work to help you make it happen, even when you're not thinking about it. I remember hearing author and motivational speaker Brian Tracy tell a crowd that if they took a blank piece of paper and wrote down 10 things they wanted to accomplish in the next year, and then folded the piece of paper in half, dated it, put it away, and did not look at it for an entire year, a year later they would have accomplished 7 or 8 of the items on the list. He guaranteed it. This is due to putting the power of the subconscious mind to work. Now imagine how powerful this principle would be if you not only wrote it down, but you read it every day, even twice a day. You can dream and create the future you want by putting the power of the subconscious mind to work to help you achieve your dreams. Think about it this way. If you decide to take a 1,000-mile journey, you need to know where you want to end up. Certainly when you board a plane, you know where you're going. If you do not pay attention to where you want to end up, you most likely will not arrive at your destination. It is no different in life or in business. When I worked in the corporate world, I had an airplane at my disposal to save time getting from one location to another. Traveling at 160 miles an hour in an airplane gets you to where you want to go in a big hurry, but you had better know where that is. Don't be like Alice. In the story of Alice in Wonderland, Alice is looking for a way out of Wonderland. when she comes to a crossroad, and she turns to the Cheshire Cat sitting there and says, "I just wanted to ask you which way I ought to go." The Cheshire Cat then tells her that it depends on where she wants to be. Alice says she does not know, and the Cheshire Cat smiles and says, "Then it does not matter which way you go." Without a clear direction, you will be just like Alice. It does not matter which road you take if you do not know where you want to go. But of course, it is unlikely you will end up where you want to be. Surprisingly, few business owners take the time to set a destination for their business or their personal life. How can you define success if you do not know exactly what you want the future to look like? Not only do you need to know where you want to go, you have to know where you are currently if you're going to get from A to B. A is your current state, and B is your destination or desired future. To chart a course, you must be truthful about where you are. No pretending, no denial. If you took a 30,000-foot view of your business and your personal life, how would you describe it? That is your current state. Understanding that is a critical part of charting a course to the future. I suggest to my clients that they read their 5-year, 3-year, and 1-year visions every day. Doing so is a powerful tool for creating the future you want and putting your subconscious mind to work for you. Work backwards. 5-year vision, 3-year vision, and your 1-year vision. Success steps. Number 1, spend time understanding your current state or reality. Number 2, envision your business and personal life 5 years from now. Number 3, work backwards to plan what you want your business and life to look like 3 years from now and 1 year from now to keep you on track towards your 5-year vision. Number 4, write this vision out. Number 5, read it every day to put the power of your subconscious mind to work.